All right, here we go. My name's Jeff K, and you're listening to episode 454 of the world-famous West Virginia Surf Report podcast.
A little bit hefty.
Woke up this morning with a zit on my nose. Believe it or not, I'm 62. Yes, I'm 62 years of age. 62 years of age. 62 years of age, and I got a pimple on my nose. The hell's that? How's that fair? How's that? You know, I don't know. Is that stress related, or what? What is going on? Every once in a while. It doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while it happens. It rears its ugly head. You get a pimple. I got a pimple. I got a pimple on my. It's usually on my face somewhere. What the hell's that? That's not fair. I got past that. I went through that phase. It's like the worst time. I mean, I've had a couple of bad times in my life. Self-inflicted mostly. This one I'm talking about. When I was 13, you know, when you're 13 years old. In my case, I feel like I went to bed one night, a semi-normal looking kid. I go to bed as a I was going to say, normal, but I'd say semi-normal looking kid. I go to bed one night like that, and then I wake up the next day as a gangly, oily, zitty monster. You know, too tall, stumbling around. You know, I got zits aplenty. I'm a zit-spangled freak. You know, and everything's in upheaval. There's shit sprouting. New places. I don't know. There's like shifting hygienic realities. It takes a while to get a handle on. It's a bad time. And I might add, the girls. All right. So there's the boys. For the most part, there's a few fancy lads that skates right through that period, apparently unscathed. I don't know. Most of us, though, it is a rough time. Seventh grade is a rough time for most boys, right? The girls, on the other hand, most of them look like models. How's that fair? Line up some 7th grade boys and then line up some 7th grade girls and tell me how that's fair. And I had no self-esteem anyway. I had no self-esteem. I've never had any, And but then at the end of that period, which it takes a while for things to level out. It takes a couple years, but at the beginning, when it's real powerful, when it's new, it's rough times, brother. At the end of that thing, I went from no self-esteem to minus. It goes into the negative. But anyway, that's what that reminded me of. Thanks. Appreciate that. It's probably stress related. I'm under stress. I got things going on this weekend that's stressful. For one thing, the younger boy's moving out again. He's going back to Pittsburgh. He's going to enter into a master's program at a college out there. So he's moving out tomorrow, as I record this tomorrow, which that sucks. I sometimes complain about too many adults in this house, but I don't want anybody to move out either. It's one of those you bitch about it, but you don't really want it to. You don't want people moving out. We're a family, So anyway, it's just the way it goes. Eventually everybody moves out. Well, the kids. He's moving out tomorrow, and I have some kind of stressful thing going on at work. I have to go in on Sunday and work overnight into Monday. Not too. I don't need that level of scrutiny. I don't know. It's going to be. You know what I mean? I don't. It's an audit. It's some kind of audit. It's going to be pretty hardcore. It'll be fine. I mean, we do things correctly. It's just, it's a lot of scrutiny. I mean, I'm pretty confident that everything will go fine. It's just nerve-wracking. I mean, we do things the right way. We're not. There's no cutting corners or anything. So I mean, it'll be fine. But they're gonna, people auditing our processes. And my part Sunday night into Monday morning, and it's a little stressful. So that's probably why I have a pimple in the end of my nose, like some kind of a freak. All right. Anyway, so that's what's going on here at the House of K. The other day I got a letter in the mail. Got called for jury duty in July. Whoo-hoo! Love that. I love that. People are always like, I got to get out of that. Why? Why would you want to get out of it? You can go in there with your Kindle, sit in that room, all day. Don't have to go to work. It's fantastic. They give you $11 at the end. It's a delight. But anyway, it's in July sometime, mid-July, and I've only been called a couple times in my life. Some people get called all the time. I don't know how that works. Tony gets called quite a bit. I don't. And that's the thing. When I go in there, they're gonna take one look at me. They're gonna say, "Get him out of here. We don't need some curmudgeonly old fat ass in here with spewing his ideas and his opinions." That guy, you could just take a look at that guy. He's not. He hasn't had an open mind since Jimmy Carter was in the White House. Anyway, they're not. I don't think they take old people. I think they prefer. I don't know what they prefer, but anyway, I have a feeling they're not going to take me. But I don't know. I've only been called a couple times. One time I got called to Los Angeles County. That was after I moved here. Told them I wasn't going to be able to make it. I got called twice to go down to the courthouse in Scranton. No, actually, I can only remember once. Twice. The first time I went in there, they sat in there all day long. We went to lunch. They brought us back. Sat in there for hours. I had a book with me, and I read the whole book while I was in there. And then they just let us go. Never talked to anybody. Was never questioned. The judge came in and said, "We're holding you guys because we're trying to get a plea deal." We told them, "If you don't take the deal, then we got a jury in the next room. We can get this thing started today." So they was holding us over their head, and finally they got the deal, I guess. So that was just a full day sitting in a room. Never talked to lawyers. Never talked to us. I mean, nobody ever called us. Did nothing but sit in the room. And then the second time, which was only a couple years ago, I got called in there, and they had us. They had us. I can't remember how they split us in half. They did half people on one side of the room, half on the other, and they just said, "All right, everybody on this half can go home." I don't know. I can't remember what the criteria was. They didn't do any individual questions in that case either. But that was early. They let us go early in the day. First time they made us stay all day. So I've never actually been I've never been on a jury. I've never even got to the point where I was questioned by lawyers. Where they're trying to decide whether to keep you or let you go. I've never even reached that point. So anyway, Tony got involved in some kind of drug some kind of drug deal gone bad or something. I think it lasted a couple days. Man, that was pretty hardcore. I mean, there was I think there might have been like a death, like a murder involved in this one. But I don't know. I haven't gotten anywhere. But anyway, middle of July, might be able to go, or it might be. We'll see how it goes. I'm kind of excited about it. I don't know why people want to get out of those things all the time. Why would you want to get out of it? It's fun. It's interesting. It's good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I talked to my dad the other day, and he told me the story. It's kind of a crazy story. He said that he was he and my mother were out driving around, right? Driving around, which is what they do sometimes. They go out and just drive around. I don't know. Are you familiar with this? Let's go out for a drive. And this is something people used to do a long time ago, and they still do. Let's just go out for a drive. You familiar with this concept? So they're out driving around. They're in Dunbar, which is the town I'm from. They don't live there anymore either, but they live nearby. They live in another town, a few miles away. But they were in Dunbar. They went up Dunbar City Park, which is this city park on top of a hill. And you have to drive up this extremely steep road to get up there. I don't know why they put a park up there. It's crazy. I mean, the road. I don't even like driving up that hill, because you drive up that thing, it feels like your engine's going to blow up. I mean, it puts a major load on your engine just driving up that thing. It's like super steep, and it's long, right? So anyway, they went up there. They're up there driving around, looking at the park. Probably like, we haven't been up there in a long time. Wonder if they're keeping it up and stuff. Wonder how if it looks nice, or if it's run down. Up there just checking things out. So then they're driving down that steep hill, creeping down, hoping their brakes don't go give out. And I mean, every time I come down that thing, I'm like, oh my God, if these brakes fail, I'll probably end up in Kentucky. Upside down in Kentucky. And anyway, so they're creeping down. He said there was a guy and a girl, like in their 20s, both of them covered in tattoos. The guy's carrying a what do you call it? He's a skateboard. God, can't think of words anymore. So one of them, the guy's carrying a skateboard. They're walking down. They're walking down the hill. My parents are driving down the hill slowly, creeping down the hill. And he said that my dad said that just suddenly, just out of the blue, the guy jumps on the skateboard and starts riding it down that steep hill, just tearing ass. I mean, just building up massive speed. And he's like, "Oh my God. How in the world?" I mean, there's no way. I mean, I don't like driving on it. I'm not even joking. I don't like driving up that hill. I don't like driving down it. I would not ride my bicycle down that thing. I might have done that. But it was like, just brakes, just hitting my brakes all the time. But I don't know. I don't remember doing anything. But it's treacherous. This guy jumps on a skateboard and he starts skating down the thing, building up just an incredible amount of speed. At the bottom, it turns off. When you get to the bottom of the hill, it makes a left. I think it's a left. Yeah, it makes a left, and he goes around the corner, and they're like, "Oh my God, did you see that? It's insane!" And so they keep creeping down, and when they go around the corner, the girl is down there now, and she's screaming, she's running, and they see the skateboard is in the middle of the street, and that guy is like 30 yards farther away, like farther. The thing is the skateboard was stopped in the middle of the street, and the guy was in a bloody heap about 30 yards farther down the street, and he's just a heap of bloody flesh. And the girl's freaking out, and they drive over there and roll down the window and said, "You guys need some help?" And the woman's like freaking out. She's like, "He needs to go to the hospital. Can you take him to the hospital?" And he's just the guy's just like moaning and groaning. You know, he said, my dad said that his collarbone was sticking through the skin, poked through. He's like all, you know, he's got blood all over him. It looks like his shoulder is jacked, like there's something wrong with his shoulder. And he's like, I guess we can take him. You know, the guy's covered in blood and sweat and probably tears. And so they load him up. They get him loaded up in the van. My parents have a minivan that they drive to Florida. They load that thing to the hilt. So they drive a minivan. They got that thing. Of course, it's impeccable. You know, I mean, they everything they do is like super neat and everything. So that thing's clean all the time. And it's probably killing my dad. Put some bloody, sweaty guy in the back of his van, in the back seat. You know, so they loaded him up, and he's going to head on over to Thomas Hospital over on the other side of the river. Take him over there. And the woman was like kept like, you know, yelling at the guy, "Don't fall asleep, don't fall asleep, you can't fall asleep. I think that's bad if you do that," you know, all this stuff. And so she goes, I don't think he can't. Just take him to my house. Just take him to my house. I don't. He's not going to stay awake if we go all the way to the hospital. My dad's like, whatever. You know, where do you live? So she told him, and he took him to her house, and she ran in the house and called 911. Called 911 for an ambulance. You know, which if my dad had just driven her straight to the hospital, it would have been a lot quicker and cost probably thousands of dollars less. You know, it would have been free. You know, you call an ambulance, mister. That's expensive. So anyway, so she ran in the house, called 911. I don't know if she didn't have her phone with her. I don't know. But, she came out with a bottle of water and poured it over his head, poured it over the guy's head, tried to keep him awake. Inside my parents' van, by the way. You know, and my dad's probably like, oh my God, I have to sell this thing. I have to like burn it, I guess. So anyway, so they finally came. He said it was pretty quick. They got there, and they told him that he had a compound fracture, and his shoulder was broken, and there might be internal problems. I don't know. There's like all kinds. He had abrasions all over him. You know, just a mess. And they took him away, and the woman tried to give my parents money to thank them, and of course they said, we don't want any money, you know, just good luck with everything. But God, the whole thing was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if you should be picking people up like that. He goes, what's he going to do? He's like, he's got bones sticking out of his skin. I said, yeah, but what about her? I said, it could be like some kind of like a scam of some sort. Like one of those, I don't know. I don't know. Could be setting you up for something. He goes, because I'm trying to be a good Samaritan. I said, I'd be skeptical. He goes, well, if he was pulling some kind of scam, you know, he was doing a lot to scam us, because he wasn't having a good day. But anyway, that happened. I thought that was crazy. That's what happens when you go out for a drive. I don't ever go out for a drive. Tony would be like, hey, I'd say, Tony, you want to go out for a drive? And she'd go, are you serious? What do you mean? Like, people don't even do that anymore. That's crazy. But anyway, and the last thing before I get to the phone calls, because I have a bunch of them, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I told them, and this is true, this is another thing that I've never done in my life. Well, with one little exception. Just like the never crapping at work, people don't believe that that's true. It's absolutely true. I have never in my life, not one time in my entire life, have I had a a sit down at work. Never. So, believe it or not, it's the truth. I don't need to be, I'm not one of these out of my way guys like most people are. I've never done that. Never. My brain does not allow it. It never becomes an issue. My brain knows that that's not going to happen. It's not an option, so it doesn't even send the signals. The signal never gets delivered. And it never happens. So anyway, another thing that people cannot believe is the fact that I have never had food delivered to my house, and that includes pizza. Never have I had food delivered. That's like any kind of DoorDash, Uber Eats, any of that bullshit, or any of that stuff, or even pizza delivery. Never had any. I've never had any like groceries. People order their groceries delivered. I've never done any of that. I go pick up my pizzas. When I order pizza, I'll go pick it up. It never even occurs to me to have somebody drive it over to my house. You know, I've never. People are like, "Are you serious? How? How is that possible?" I have food delivered 4 or 5 times a week. I think people are crazy with that stuff. It's expensive. It's crazy expensive. You know, there's fees on top of everything's expensive to begin with. Then you got to pay a bunch of fees. Screw that. Just get in your car and drive over and pick it up. God, it's not that far. What the hell? It's worth. Paying an extra $10 for your shit, for your shit Taco Bell. God, it's already too expensive, and then you're gonna pay. Just go pick it up. My God, is that a hardship? How's that a hardship? Get in your car and drive over there and pick it up. My God, I don't understand it. I mean, that's one of those things. That's another thing. My brain knows that's not even an option. I mean, I don't even think about it. I never even consider having anything delivered ever, food-wise, you know. So anyway, that's another thing. The only exception. And I was thinking about this after the fact. I recently told somebody that at work, and they couldn't believe it, and they were skeptical. Like I don't know about this. Is this true? But after that conversation, I remembered that in Myrtle Beach, we've had pizza delivered to our room. Hungry Howie's. We've had Hungry Howie's delivered to our room 2 times, 2 different trips. So that's the only exception. The only reason we did that is I was half drunk. I'd had some adult beverages. B, I had no idea where the pizza place was. So we had it delivered. So that's the only exception. I've never had it delivered to my house. That is an accurate statement. I've never crapped at work. So there you go. These are some facts that you know about me. All right, I have 4 phone calls that came in over the hotline, and I'm going to get to those right now. This first one is from Susan in Maryland. Here it is.
Hey, Mr. Jeff. This is Susan Robertson down in Maryland. I heard you're going to D.C. I think you said July. I didn't know if you were going as a package deal with hotels involved, or you had routing, you were going to take the metro. Because I'm just right up the road from you and been there since 1965. But anyway, don't bring a car. Metro is the way to go. Like the red line comes from southern Montgomery County, may be less expensive and easier than northern Virginia. Anyway, and also there's numerous Smithsonian buildings. I think you probably want to go to the one that looks like the National Gallery of Art with the dome. And then the other Smithsonians are in the General Mall area. But I think seeing the monuments at night's a cool idea. But anyway, I hope you wear walking shoes. Mistakenly, I took my car down there a couple of years ago, and we ended up walking 2 miles just to get to the Smithsonian. So it's going to be going to be a trip, but I hope you like it. And I'm glad you like Camden Yards. That's right down the road, too, right over east of here. Anyway, have fun. I enjoy listening to you. Bye.
Thank you for the tips, Susan. We're going to stay in Alexandria. Old town, or what is it called? Old Town, Alexandria? Is that what it's called? I don't know. Alexandria. That's where we're staying. And I don't know. I've done a lot of reading, and apparently the metro is the way to go. So we're going to do that. I don't know. Is it fairly safe, I guess, from what I read? I mean, I've been on some sketchy-ass subways in my life, mostly in Atlanta. I've been on some sketchy subways in Atlanta, and in New York too. I mean, I've been on some. Well, I don't think I've had any problems in New York, but some of those things are a little scary. Well, I wouldn't get on one after dark. I don't think. I don't know. What do you think? Tell me about that. Tell me about the metro, how safe it is, because I don't want to get myself in a situation. But anyway, I know better than to take my car down there. I've read a bunch of stuff about it, and everybody says the same thing. Don't even try to take your car down there, because it's going to cost you a shitload of money. Even if you can find a parking spot, it's going to cost you a ton of money, and it's going to cause you a lot of heartache, right? So we're going to use the metro, or I might, when we do that after dark, unless you tell me differently. We might take an Uber or something like that. But I don't know. But, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to the whole trip. We got those White House tickets, which we had to go through our congressman to get them. Had to undergo a background check. That's crazy, isn't it? So we're going to do that. We're going to go to the Smithsonian. I don't know. It's the one, natural history or something. I don't know. American history. I don't know. There's two of them we want to go to. So, we got that all set up. And we're going to go to a baseball game. We're going to see the Reds and the Nationals. And I read something. Tell me what you think about this, or what you know about this. That they have a newish. It's only been in operation a short time. It runs from Old Town Alexandria, or whatever it's called, where we're staying, to the stadium. It's a water taxi. What do you think about that? Do you know anything about that? That sounds like fun. You could take it right to the baseball stadium. That's awesome. I don't know, is there any downsides to that? I need more information on that. Do you know anything about the water taxis? That sounds great. And the walking, I don't know. When we were in Cincinnati, I don't know, the last time that Tony and I were in Cincinnati, we walked so much. We walked across the bridge into Cincinnati, and I destroyed my foot, and my left foot still hurts. It's never been the same. It's destroyed. It's gnarled. It's a gnarled. I don't know, the heel of my left foot has never been the same. It's destroyed. Something's shattered in there. Something turned to dust. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the massive walking. Well, I have to take it slow. I'm going to have to tell the younger boy, or the older boy, I'm going to say, you need to slow it down. Because I'm old and hefty. I'm a little bit hefty. And I have to slow it down. I'm not going to sprint through the streets. I could get one of those those scooters. Ride those bastards. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But thank you for the call. Camden Yards, love Camden Yards. Fun times. Although I think the Reds lost both games I went there. Still a great stadium. Good times. Thanks for the call, Susan. Call back anytime. This next one's from our old pal, Eugene. Here it is.
Hey, Jeff K. It's your old pal, Eugene, from Peaches and the Wheel Sound Podcast. I don't think you've mentioned it yet, but, no big surprise. I predicted it, for decades, also being a Cincinnati Reds fan, not so much anymore. I don't even follow baseball. I know I'm one of these people. The strikes in the 90s, I got out. But anyway, the thing I'm calling about is you've not mentioned anything about Pete Rose. now being eligible for the Hall of Fame. I mean, I knew they were never going to let him in while he was alive. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on what you think about it now. You know, now that he's dead and he's gone, and he can't make money off of that. You know, upping his price tag. I guess, I don't know. Is that the way Major League Baseball kind of took that? Is like they didn't want him to make money off of Major League Baseball. I don't know, man. Just let me know your thoughts. I'd like to know. Toodles.
All right, before we get into that, I want to recommend Eugene's podcast, the Wheeler's Dog podcast. It's it's somewhat like mine, except it has Eugene's perspective on things. You know, it's about things that are going on in his life, and his observations. You know, similar to what you're listening to here. But it's from a different perspective, Eugene's unique perspective. I think you'll like it. If you like this podcast, you'll like his podcast too. It's the Wheeler's Dog podcast, featuring Eugene B. Sims, from my old pal from Peaches Records in Greensboro. I've known him for a long, long time. And you asked about Pete Rose. Hang on a second, I can get some water. I'm talking too much. Filtered sewage. But anyway, Pete, yeah. I mean, I don't know. The thing with Pete is I have an emotional attachment to that guy. Because when I was a kid, the Big Red Machine was my team. And I loved and lived that team. Huge part of my life. I mean, I love the grade 8, as they call them, the starting 8 on those Big Red Machine teams. I could run them down for you. Johnny Bench behind the plate, Tony Perez at first, Joe Morgan at second, Davey Concepcion at short, Pete Rose at third, George Foster in left, Cesar Geronimo in center, and Ken Griffey Sr. in right. Or as he was known back then, Ken Griffey. So there's 3 Hall of Famers on that team, and another one, Pete Rose, that certainly would have been in the Hall of Fame if he hadn't pulled a bunch of shenanigans. So I don't know. I loved that team. I loved, Pete was an exciting player. I mean, every time he took the field, you didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, anything was possible. He ran wide open. He played hard. He was exciting. He was an electrifying player, and I loved that team, and I loved him. Although there's something about him. I mean, I did love him as a player, but there was something about him. Even when I was a kid, I was like, I don't know about that guy, But I'm very fond of him and all that, and those teams that he played on. However, he also, so there's that part where I'm like, yes, he belongs in the Hall of Fame. Are you serious? How could you think he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame? He's one of the greatest players ever. He had more hits than anybody. He's played in more games than anybody. It's Charlie Hustle. He was one of the greatest players of his time. He was an ambassador to baseball. I mean, he made baseball fans out of people that didn't care about baseball, And he was a character. I mean, he was hilarious, and he's just, how could you think? But then on the other hand, the guy knew the rules. That's the golden rule in baseball. You can't be involved in gambling. You can't bet especially can't bet on baseball. They don't want you betting on anything. I mean, they wanted gambling, although they've gotten bad with the gambling. All the games are brought to you by FanDuel and stuff like that. But, for decades, they had nothing to do with gambling. No gambling, because gambling almost ruined the game back in the early part of the 20th century. 1919 specifically. So, and he just thought, they're not going to do anything to me. I'm Pete Rose. Charlie Hustle. They're not going to do shit to me. I'm bigger than the game. You serious? So I don't know. So I'm torn. I love him as on an emotional side, but on a logical side, I understand why he was banned from the game, from becoming a member of the Hall of Fame. I understand both sides of it. So therefore, I'm going to give you a wishy-washy answer. If he gets in, I'll be happy. If he doesn't get in, I understand it. So I know it's probably not a very satisfying answer. That's how I feel about him. And I mean, you're right. I mean, I'm with you on that. They were never going to let him in while he was alive. But there's so much public sentiment, that they buckled. As soon as he died, they're like, all right, we're gonna make him he still has to get voted in. He's eligible. That's all they did. They made him eligible. He has to be voted in. He has to first appear on a ballot, which hasn't happened, and who knows if it will. And if he is on a ballot, he has to be voted in. So it's not like he's already. Somebody at work said, "Hey, did you hear Pete Rose got elected to the Hall of Fame?" I said, he didn't get elected to the Hall of Fame. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're talking straight at your ass. Anyway, that's probably an unsatisfactory answer, Eugene, but that's the way I feel about it. I'm torn between two. I don't know. I'm torn. I could go either way. I'd be happy if he got in. I'd be perfectly understand it if he didn't. So thanks for calling, Eugene. And you guys check out his podcast, Wheeler's Dog. Check it out. And this next call is from our buddy Jason in Austin. Here it is.
Hey, Jeff, it's Jason in Austin. I think I mentioned before that I manage HOAs here in the area. One of the neighborhoods I have is sort of on a mountainside, very ritzy, gated. There's about 15 houses in there. They're really rich, really secluded, really don't see many people outside of themselves most of the time. They've been calling me and telling me for the last couple of months that a lady out there has been showing up on her front porch completely naked. She's 70-something. Her name is Sarah. And I kept saying, what is it you want me to do? Like, I'm not going to go confront her about that. She's standing out on the porch naked. You shitting me, on her front porch? Yep, every fucking morning she's out there. So the other morning, I was at the community, and we were having a landscaping walk, me and the board of directors. And we came around the corner, and there on the front porch was Sarah in all her glory. The craziest looking snow white pubic hair you've ever seen in your life. Hadn't been touched since the 1950s. Complete Sasquatch. You'd have to have a chainsaw to get to it. So I walked up to her and said, Sarah, what are we doing here? Why are you standing out here naked? And she said, well, I have to have sunlight, the doctor said, and I have to have it every day. And the only time of day I can get it is in the morning because the sun goes over here and then over here and then it's shade. So, okay, the only time you can do it is in the morning. I remembered that her ex-husband had put a door up on the top at the back of their house to add a little hallway thing, but he never added it. He ended up dying. And I said, what if we put you a deck back there and you can get the sun all day? It faced east. What do you think about that? And she said, well, who's going to pay for it? So I turned around and the board all readily agreed, yeah, we'll pay for it. So we bought this lady, or paid for this lady to have a private little nude deck built on the side of her house where we don't have to look at her anymore. That's all I got this week. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you. Bye.
Never a dull moment. Yeah, you lead an interesting life, Jason. So this woman just said, I'm picturing her just standing on the front porch with her arms at her side, just standing straight up, just pointing into the sun, just pointing her untended to bush at the sun. I don't know. Okay, her doctor told her she needed more sun. Okay, does that mean that she has to be completely nude? Can't she wear like a t-shirt or something and a pair of shorts? She could still get sun. Why do you have to be nude? Is that something that's necessary? I don't know. But you guys, you came up with a good solution. I'm surprised I paid for it. But, it helps the community, especially if it's a bunch of rich folks. You don't want them riled up. You don't need a money source riled up. So, at least you guys came up with a good solution. She's going to be up on that catwalk naked out there all day long. All right. She's in her 70s. Oh, boy. That's not that woman you were dating, is it? I don't know. Anyway, thank you for calling. Thanks for calling, Jason. I do appreciate that. And, keep calling, because you lead an interesting life. Much more interesting than mine. It's much more interesting than my nose pimple. That's for sure. Thanks for calling, Jason. And this last one is our old pal Patrick, and here it is.
Hey, Jeff, it's Patrick here. Hey, man, I'm on a vacation trip down here to the Panhandle of Florida with the fam here, and I was listening to a couple of podcasts. You were talking about the cheap toilet paper. We got a saying for that. It's called John Wayne toilet paper. That's because it's rough, tough, and it don't take no shit off of nobody, right? So, that's why we call it that. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's that prison grade, big ass roll of toilet paper. But, I've got a coworker who's he's from Eastern Kentucky, and we were talking about, fried bologna. And he said his grandma used to make a fried bologna that's maybe cut about a half-inch thick, and she would exit in the middle so when you fry it, it kind of peels up, and she would make it with Lay's potato chips and mustard and mayo. And, it's just kind of an Appalachian kind of a way to do it. I don't know if that was made its way into West Virginia or not. But in West Tennessee, we do a smoked barbecued bologna, where it's a thick cut, and yeah, you'd smoke it in a smoker or fry it on a barbecue grill, or cook it on a barbecue grill, and then you'd put barbecue sauce and coleslaw on it. It's fucking delicious. So I was wondering, man, could you tell us what the West Virginia hot dog, what that was again? What was the makeup of that? You said it once on the thing, and it sounded pretty fucking delicious. And I'd kind of like to try that too. If you could give us the recipe for the West Virginia hot dog, I'd like it. I'd give it a shot. See you, man. Bye.
The John Wayne toilet paper. That's excellent. That's accurate. That's very accurate. It's the older boy. He goes, this is like something. I was calling it. I was saying it was toilet paper. We hadn't talked about this. We weren't on the same. But we were. I think whenever I was talking about this toilet paper that Tony bought at Target, it's like real cheap. I said it was like something that you'd find at like a state park, like a bathroom in a state park or a rest area. And the older boy said, he goes, where do we get why do we have this? This is like something you'd find at Port Authority in New York. And we didn't compare notes. I mean, he just said that out of the blue. It's like something they probably have in the Port Authority in New York, the bus station. That was funny. But yeah, that stuff we're down to, I don't know, like 5 rolls left. So it's flying out, it's going to be gone soon. Tony made it clear that we had to use it first. And somebody uses an enormous amount. I don't know what the hell's going on. But we fly, I think people are blowing their nose. I don't know, it's not being used just for the normal. I don't know, but I think we're down to 4 or 5 rolls of that Port Authority toilet paper, the John Wayne toilet paper. Fried bologna, yeah. When I was in the 70s, bologna was as a popular sandwich item. And now nobody eats bologna, hardly. But I had it. My grandmother, who lived right across the street from us, used to make me lunches all the time, and it was often bologna sandwiches. And there was different ways of doing it. You could just have it cold, right out of the fridge, like cold cuts. And that was usually on white bread with lettuce and mayonnaise. And I don't even like mayonnaise, but for some reason that combination, it was like white bread, cold, like straight out of the fridge, bologna, lettuce and mayonnaise. And I found that to be a delight. You could also do fried bologna. And you had to cut slits in it, because when you fried it, it would if you didn't cut slits in it, it would start curving up into like a cup. It's like shaped like a cup. So you had to cut slits in it so it'd stay flat. And that usually had on I guess white bread, I guess. But you had mustard. You put that, for some reason, one of them, like the cold bologna, you put mayo on it. And but when you had it fried, hot, mustard was the, with no lettuce, just mustard. And that was good too. I mean, that's what we had. And then there's the thing called the hot bologna, which is a whole different thing. I mean, that's like a thick cut. Like a real thick cut of bologna, and it's cooked in some kind of barbecue sauce. Sometimes it's like super hot. People like it hot, People like real spicy shit. I'm not. That's not really my thing, but a lot of people do. And there's 1,000 different recipes for it. And if you go to like a hot dog stand or something in West Virginia, or something, like a Dairy Queen or something along those lines, like those kind of places. They always serve hot bologna, and everybody has their own recipes. There's a lot of like a pool room or like a beer joint, those kind of places. They always serve hot bologna, and everybody has their own. It's all done differently, but it's basically a thick piece of bologna cooked or like heated up in some kind of a hot sauce, like a barbecue sauce, whatever the recipe is, and it's usually served on a bigger, not just a regular hamburger bun, like something a little bit more fancy than that. I don't know what it is. And you can get lettuce and tomato and onions, whatever you want on it. Some people put mayonnaise on it, which is disgusting because it's already loaded with barbecue sauce. But anyway, that's the bologna situation. Bologna used to be like a big part of everybody's lunches. They had like commercials on TV. My bologna has a first name. It's OSCAR. You know that one? That thing. There's all kinds of. Bologna was a big. Now it's gone. Everybody's like disgusted. I don't think my kids have ever eaten bologna in their lives. It's not even on anybody's radar anymore. I find that to be bizarre. And the West Virginia hot dog. Okay, you got a pencil? It's mustard, onions. It's chili and coleslaw. Those 4 items: mustard, onions, chili, coleslaw. So the chili is not. It's like a hot dog sauce. It doesn't have beans in it, but it's like hot dog chili, And it's a delicious concoction. It's a taste treat, and you can get that all over. You go to West Virginia, and you just order a hot dog with everything. That's what that is. Just say I have a hot dog with everything, and it'll have those 4 items on it, you know. And that is good. That's solid. I mean, the coleslaw freaks people out. They're like, I've never heard. Why would you put coleslaw on a hot dog? That's a side item. It's like, no, it isn't. Not where I come from. That shit is solid. That is a good. That makes for a good lunch. And when it's done, there's some great places that you can get fantastic versions of it all around West Virginia. It's great stuff. So that's what that is. I try to recreate it at home. It's good. It's still good, but it's best when it's in the hands of a professional. You know, I'm an amateur when it comes to putting together a true West Virginia hot dog. I mean, I know what it's the chili and the slaw. The slaw has to be a certain. It's like a sweet, creamy slaw, and the chili has to have a little bit of kick to it, but not too much. It's good stuff. It's a great combination. I highly recommend it. And that's all the calls I have. Thanks, Patrick, and thanks, Jason, Eugene, and Susan. You guys call back anytime. That goes for the rest of you as well. The number, 570-290-8151. Give me a call round the clock. It's just voicemail. It's nothing to be intimidated by. We're all friends here. So give me a call, 570-290-8151. And if you want 2 episodes a week instead of a measly 1, you can do that too. Head on over to Patreon. That's Patreon, patreon.com/JeffK. Sign up for a $4 or more monthly donation, and you'll get an extra episode every week. Not every once in a while. Not every month. That's for suckers. $4. That's all it'll take. Every time there's a new podcast on the main network, a few days later it's followed up by a bonus episode for patrons only. So if you want to be a patron and tap into that rich vein of insanity, do it today. Patreon.com/JeffK, and surfreportpod.com is the web home of the podcast. Check that out as well. It's updated. I have to add some of that value-added stuff. I have to add some of the support materials. I got really behind, and I apologize. I'm going to stay on top of it now. But it's a work in progress. But, that's where you can get expanded show notes, photographs, links, all that stuff. And you can leave comments if you want. Nobody does, but if you want to, you can do that. surfreportpod.com. And we're at the end of this thing. Thank you guys for listening. I do appreciate it. Until next time, which will be over on the Patreon side. Hope you guys have yourselves a fine, fine day. I'll see you. Bye.
Complete Sasquatch